Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Tower of God Chapter 456, or Season 3, Episode 39. Wasn't expecting this one to be late, wasn't expecting this one to be today or anything, so sorry about that, but yeah, I'm recording this right before I read the next chapter, so my reaction to the next chapter will be up right after this. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and talk about this one before I know what's going to be in the next chapter so that that doesn't really influence anything I'm going to say. But yeah, either way, let's talk about this one. I loved it once again. I thought it was really good. I do think that maybe it was a little bit less well organized. Like there was some of the stuff toward the end that the pacing felt a little bit weird. Again, not bad, just a little weird, a little off. It wasn't as tight-knit maybe as the past two. But either way, let's start talking about this from the beginning. So, Kane rejects Calavan again after he just tosses this dude into this wall. But it seems like he's planting those seeds of doubt in the peace that Kane's sister was protecting, or was sealed to protect. So, even though she sort of denied him again, like, no, you're not the one she's waiting for, or whatever, it does seem like he's starting to wear on her a little bit. Then we see the detention center, and Bomb's group was tactically locked up. So pretty much they figure we can bust out anytime we want to. We've got White, for heck's sake. So we can bust out whenever we want. We might as well just let them peacefully take us into this place and sort of bide our time and figure out what we're going to do from there. So yeah, tactically locked up. White talks about swordsmanship to Hatsu a bit. It's cool seeing them interact in this way, but really it wasn't anything much more than swinging around a sword isn't good enough. You've got to, put more of your soul into it, I guess. I don't know, it was kind of confusing, because he's like, you're just swinging it around clumsily, but then he also says, like, the technique isn't what matters, just that the sword cuts and stabs, so it's like, either way, the translation may or may not be the most cohesive there. But yeah, point is, do better with swordsmaning. Also, we get more confirmation that Hatsu's sword Donghei is special. So I like that the panels shifting over as Kun's thinking really compares this to Bomb. A similarity here. Somebody who has amazing skills and an incredible weapon, but no clue how to properly use them. And that's probably Bomb from White's perspective, and probably Bomb from a lot of people's perspective in the universe of Tower of God, is that he's got all these amazing skills and this incredible power, but he isn't maybe using it the way that they think it should be used. But White offers to teach Bomb how to light the fire with the souls within himself, which is something we may see Bomb do, but it doesn't appear to be something that's an entirely positive experience. It's not an entirely positive thing for him to do if he does it. So all that was interesting. I'm liking more development with White in general because he's one of my favorite characters. But White looked into information on the sealed hero when it comes to the wall. We learn a little bit more about Genesis. We knew it was a war way back when between Zahard and his enemies, but I think it's actually really, really cool to get confirmation here that when Zahard was just like, hey, I'm going to set up an empire and I'm going to rule over you all as king now, there were a lot of people in the tower who were like, we don't want this guy just coming in and saying he's king of the whole tower now. So there were people that for those reasons, not necessarily personal reasons, but for the greater freedom and political reasons, were like, okay, we don't want this guy just coming in and saying he's king over all of us. And so they sort of rallied behind FUG as this group that was going against Zahard's empire for their own personal reasons. So FUG had their personal reasons, and we see that falling in behind them were all these people that were like, we may not be personally involved with Zahard, but we also don't want him just claiming himself as king over us. So there was a team formed, or multiple teams. It was weird, because we learned about one team, which is the Hidden Grove, but the way they talked about it seems like there could have been multiple ones. But there was a team formed, at least, of outstanding rankers from each country who studied with the FUG masters. So they sent their strongest people from these countries, study with the masters in FUG, and then form a team together. And they assassinated what, again, the translation was a little bit wonky in line, the official one, but what I'm assuming it means is the sort of first generation of children, or at least the previous generation of children that came from the 10 family heads. So, of course, all of that was cool. They assassinated a whole generation of the 10 family heads' children. So it kind of makes sense that the 10 family heads would really, really hate this team. But they were called Hidden Grove. And then So-Oh shows up. I love it. So just randomly, yeah, I'm a guide. I can sneak in however I want. It was great. But So-Oh said that they'll tell them more about this and tell them why they don't want to wake up the people sealed in the wall. So that's cool. I think those motives are going to be really cool to explore. Why wouldn't Kelhelm want these people, or FUG want these people to be released? I think that's going to be a really cool thing to learn. So all that was good. Then we have Calivan calling Chonhee. I like this. I like these callbacks to some of these other characters. And Chonhee actually mentions that the squadron is moving in secrecy as if to defend something, so that's going to be really cool. Usually that kind of stuff isn't mentioned unless it's at least somehow going to be some kind of important. So that's pretty cool. Also, they mention the new squadron commander, but we don't know who they are yet. And Calivan just asks her about women. And Chonhee gives this really good advice that's like, not even just for women, but for anyone. Chonhee basically tells Calivan that when someone is sticking to something, it means they're waiting for something, and that makes total sense. If somebody is stubborn, set in a certain way, sticking to a certain sort of, I don't know what to call it, not a determination, but like somebody's decided on a certain thing and they're sticking to it, it's because they're waiting, they're not going to change until they see whatever it is they're waiting on. They're waiting on some certain thing before they can change, or before they can give up on whatever they're holding on to. So of course that makes total sense. Really good advice and all that. We have Teb and some soldiers attacking Kane, pushing her further toward her breaking point of realizing this isn't the peace, and them telling her that the townspeople want her gone, even though it's her and her sister's fault or sake that they're still here, they're still alive, they're protected in this wall, but the townspeople want her gone. So it just pushes Kane further and further toward knowing that she's waiting for Bomb before releasing her sister, but she just misses her sister, and all these people are assholes. So yeah, really makes you feel for Kane. But we end with a flashback. So the flashback occurs near the end of Genesis. We see a spear bearer, Taro York, who looks like Rak, only like kind of insectoid. He's like kind of got moth fuzz, and then his biceps looked kind of like segmented or something, I think. And he wore similar clothes to Rak as well. So he looks very similar to Rak. We see another spear bearer who is Kundhind Luck, and Kundhind Luck is like, he looks a lot like Kelhelm. He uses the bow. He doesn't have the pointy ears, but his hair is similar. So it makes me think, could Kelhelm be Kundhind Luck? Is that possible? I wasn't expecting it if that is true, but just in general, I thought there were a lot of similarities in the way they looked, going back and rereading this chapter again to take notes on it. And then, of course, the wave controller, Dowan, who is the Forget-Me-Not, Kane's sister. And they're fighting against the ancient odd-eyed giant cobra, which is the Lopobia's 20th branch symbol. So I guess there are 23 branches, because they said 23 great beasts. I don't remember off the top of my head from back in Name Hunt Station when they said how many branches they were. All I remember is that there were a bunch of different branches in the Lopobia family, and each branch had their own sort of style and their own name coming from one of the great beasts of the family head. So that's cool. We see one of the great beasts that's now the 20th branch's symbol. We know that, we don't know what the symbol is or anything, but some of the other paths we know about, we know that the Grey Wolf is what Elaine or Kaiser is from. Not sure about Lilial or Shilial or Alphine, since Alphine was a servant to Well, Alphine was a servant to Kaiser, but I don't think Alphine was from the same branch, so maybe the fox is its own branch since she had a fox. We know the feline people are their own branch, so presumably a cat. Not sure, again, if that huge cat that Yusracha uses, is that cat the great beast or whatever, or is that just a cat that Yusracha uses? But either way, it's cool seeing something like that come into play here. And at the very, very end, we learned that this is 3 months before Kane was sealed in the wall. So this is very close to the end of Genesis then. So yeah, super, super interesting. I'm really excited to see how that plays out, because we are going to see the rest of it, at least a little bit it would seem, because some important info in the blog post. CU mentions that White has had a real shift in attitude towards Bomb. Of course, we've seen that play out over some long-term storytelling within the series, which I think is good. He also mentions that this isn't really an arc meant to humanize Calavan, because Calavan is still a very, like, such a, I don't know if I want to call it business oriented, but so like serious and down to business that Calavan is almost robotic. But this isn't meant to humanize Calavan, but it is meant to show that Calavan is a more multifaceted character, a more multifaceted person than what we had seen before. Also, CU says that we're going to be shown the past briefly here, so I'm excited for that. We're going to be shown this stuff, but I don't think it's going to take too much of the arc up. And lastly, CU mentions that there were adjustments made to this chapter from the preview service version, and that was because there were also adjustments made to the chapter after this from the preview service version. So that's cool. I'm about to read this chapter after this, and I'm assuming what they added in. CU sometimes does this whenever they mention in the blog that oh yeah, I changed some things from the preview. There's usually a scene added to the end, like a flashback or something. So I'm assuming that this flashback here was probably what was added. I'm not sure because I don't read the previews, as to not spoil myself ahead of time. But yeah, because here's the reason. I've mentioned it before. I think for a while at least, Nia D. Hemmings was doing a really good thing with it, where he was just reading the fast passes ahead of time to not get spoiled, and then just posting them 3 weeks later when it comes out officially, which is actually a really good way of doing it. And I actually, maybe myself should think of doing it like that, but then that kind of screws me over when things do change, like it did this time from the preview service version. So that's one thing to think about with doing it like that, I guess. But I do think that's a pretty good way to do it. But for me personally, it's one of those things, I can't just post like preview service stuff 3 weeks ahead of time. I mean, I could, but it'd be kind of sketchy and not totally right of me for people that are waiting for the free version on their browsers. So yeah, I usually just wait and do the videos once the free version comes out. But yeah, either way, I guess that's just another reason to maybe for me to do it the way I have been doing it, you know? But either way, that's it for the blog. Talking about the chapter, I think it was great once again. I really love the arc stuff. I think the arc character stuff, the arc story for this arc is really good, and I really personally like it a lot. I do think this chapter was a little bit less well organized, I said at the beginning of the video, than the past two chapters, but still really good. I just think that toward the end, maybe with that flashback thrown in there, things seemed a little weird when it came to the pacing toward the second half of this. But yeah, either way, I still loved it though. I'd still give it 8.5 Mothrax out of 10. Yeah, 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. And I hope you did too. So I guess, if you did like this video, and comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter and what you thought of my thoughts and all that. Shortly after this, probably not too much longer, maybe a few hours at the most, you'll be getting the reaction to the chapter after this. 457. I'm going to record it straight after I get done wrapping up this outro. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe for more. And if you want to support the channel on Patreon, it's patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or a link will be in the description. It really helps me to continue being able to make these videos. Even though I'm going to try my best to make what videos I can either way. But Patreon definitely helps to maybe allow me to afford to have the time to do it. Also, if you want to follow on Twitter, we can talk there. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. All you got to do is ask and I'll give you a link. And yeah, we can all talk at the Discord server if you want to. So yeah, either way, just being a part of this community, watching the videos, doing whatever you do, it's really, really appreciated. I seriously love all of you. And it always feels weird when people doing YouTube or streams or anything say that, but like, seriously. Like, before doing YouTube, I thought it was kind of weird, but like, after doing it and really interacting with people, like in the comments and everything, so I guess it's different if you really don't interact with people while you're doing it, but after interacting with everybody, it's totally like, you totally get it. It's a different kind of thing, you know? But yeah, either way, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you all next time.